Please welcome your host, Brielle McCoy! Hello and welcome to the Brielle Show. Today I'll be interviewing the newest, hottest author of his best-selling book, Math, The Foundation of Life. Please give a warm welcome to Sean Duffy.
Hello, and thank you for having me on your show. I am happy to be here.
So today we'll be discussing your new book, which has been flying off the shelves. I'm going to get right into the interview. To start, what was your inspiration for this book?
Well, one night I was talking to my children, and they asked me for help on their math homework. I looked at the problem, and I didn't even know how to solve it. At that moment, I realized that if I didn't know how to solve it, many other people wouldn't know how to solve it. So that was the inspiration for how I created Math, The Foundation of Life.
Very interesting. Were you surprised with the amount of attention that this book got?
I actually wrote the book to help the people of my town, but the local critics started recommending it to all cities everywhere across the whole world, and it kind of escalated from there.
My producer actually went on a trip to Canada and saw the book on the shelf, and he thought it looked interesting, so he brought it back to me, and I was very impressed by it. My favorite chapter was chapter 6. It really intrigued me.
The chapter about the quadratic formula, that was one of my favorite chapters, but it was also one of the hardest to write. It was actually the problem that was on my children's math homework.
Can you please explain the quadratic formula to me? It's been so long since school, and even after reading your book, I'm still a little bit confused about it.
Well, the quadratic formula is x equals the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Oh my gosh, what is the point of the quadratic formula? What do all those variables mean?
Well, for starters, there are certain scenarios in which the equation ax squared plus bx plus c cannot be factored out easily. The quadratic formula will always factor out an equation that is not easy to be factored.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yes, so for instance, let's look at the equation negative 3x squared plus 5x plus 2 equals 0. In this equation, the a value would be negative 3, the b value would be 5, and the c value would be 2. So when you plug all these values into the quadratic formula, you would get x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times 2 all over 2 times negative 3. Your answer would then be 2 and negative 1/3.
It all makes sense now. I can finally do 8th grade math again. Thank you for coming on the show and talking about your amazing book.
It was my pleasure, and I'm glad I got to talk to people about the quadratic formula.
So, Lil P, what is your biggest secret?
Little P's biggest secret is